Well, I'm freaking out about everything this guy said yesterday. Maybe not that much because we already know what he's like here, always playing the peacemaker and all that. But there are some huge conceptual errors regarding how the CTA should be handled. And how does he argue against Real Madrid's attempt for years to change it from top to bottom, which is the only way to eradicate, to scrape out all that cancer that's been entrenched there for a long time in the refereeing establishment? Because they paid a boss for 2 decades and all of that rotted, and yet they tell you, no, hey, as long as I'm here, it's fine. No, excuse me. And all the people who are there, who were big shots under Negreira, what about them? But they don't see it. I mean, there's a metastasis there. Sorry for the metaphors, but I think it's clear that if you don't go in and deal with it head on, it's never going to be completely eradicated. It's honestly unbelievable. You have to argue with this man every 5 seconds. Unbelievable. Well, we'll see it in a moment because first there are some statements. By the way, the CTA considers Betis's goal against Real Madrid to be legal and acknowledges 2 mistakes. I'll check it now. I just got this is YouTube live, well, sort of live, right? I'm recording this, but I'm going to broadcast it quickly. I just got an urgent message saying the CTA considers Betis's goal the other day legal. I thought they were going to have some decency, but of course, that's asking too much, right? The CTA. Now let's look for the Federation's account because I think they must have uploaded it there, and we'll watch it at the end of the video, okay? To stick a bit to the script I was following because we need to remember some statements from, and before we get into what Fran Soto said, okay? From Tebas this very morning, who said the following. He has called for VAR changes, previously mentioning the semi-automatic system, but today he took it further. He says it's not working. The president of the league is very critical of the dual referee system, urges to take the bull by the horns, and has even said that the semi-automated system is just there to fool idiots. And of course, you say, look, Madrid has had 38 goals disallowed by VAR since VAR was introduced. Barca 15. Madrid has more than double Barca's total. And also with a big difference compared to everyone else, especially with the one they compete against for the league title every year. Now it turns out VAR is broken. Now it turns out there have been blatant mistakes, serious errors, as Tebas is suggesting. I mean, we've been here for 3-4 years talking about the famous frame, and now the president of the league is talking about the frame. People from referee analysis talk about the frame. The guys from Archivo VAR talk about the frame this season, but not in previous ones. When there have been a couple of situations, just a couple this year, with Barca and Madrid, come on, multiply that by 20 in recent years. That's why there have been so many disallowed goals. But now suddenly there's a problem. Now the league president says this. Seriously? It's unbelievable. Everything is just unbelievable. Everything is unbelievable. Just like it's unbelievable that the other day, I think it was Jose Luis Sanchez on La Sexta on El Chiringuito. I'm not sure what he said about the referees, just that you have to go after them. I don't know the rest. Either they'll report him or the referees union already has. To Jose Luis Sanchez, a journalist from the show El Chiringuito, which probably has nothing to do with the rest. Anyway, we've spent all these years stating what's obvious. Anyway, it's curious how they get involved or take it personally and get outraged when there are Madrid fans who complain. When the president of Barcelona, week after week, both as president and as a candidate, in recent months, he has been criticizing the referees because he believed they were stealing the league from him. And also in Europe. Hey, not a single word from this damn referees union. Not a single word. It's unbelievable. The president of Barca. And now they're going to file a complaint against a journalist. Barca, what? Barca was the one who quadrupled the payments to Negreira during his term. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. You'll now see Fran Soto say it really hurt Negreira. But what about Barca? They paid the 8.4 million. And the current president, he's the one who quadrupled the payments. But anyway, when they complain about all that, you never hear the word Barcelona or the word Laporta from their mouths. Barca was the one who paid the 8.4 million. Laporta was the one who quadrupled the payments. Negreira did harm here. He had no real say, but he caused a lot of damage. No, it's just that the videos from Real Madrid television, this journalist who's a Madrid fan, we get outraged. We're the union. We file a complaint. Never to Barca or Laporta. Yet they still complain. They have the nerve to have paid millions back in the day to a refereeing boss without any consequences, and they still complain. and the others stay silent. Anyway, seriously, man. I mean, look, I understand that there are people who at this point stop watching the video or who haven't watched it at all. Because I get it. You tell me in the comments, Miguel Serrano, I'm not going to watch the video. I leave you a like. I leave a comment saying, this is a disgrace. I can't stand it. It's unbearable. Of course. We have what we have. Fran Soto yesterday. It's just 2 minutes, which won't really be two because I'm going to butt in here, of course. But how could I not? How could I not? Everything this man says is unbelievable. Pay attention. Pay attention. As Laporta, the quadrupler, would say, look.
I remember Sanchez Familio.
This is going really fast. Maybe 15, man. It's just that I put the videos on at double speed, just imagine.
I remember Sanchez Familio, Velasco Carballo, Medina Candalejo, and suddenly we meet Fran Soto. Of course, all the previous ones for talking about the Negreira case. You often say I was appointed for transparency and repeat it frequently. Yes, because I represent a new era in refereeing, I have no connection. You said, I didn't know Negreira, but the referees who work with you did work with Negreira. Yes, but there are clubs. Yes, sorry. There is a stain, which I don't know if it's somehow impossible to clean, as long as there are people who were connected to the Negreira era.
Yes, but the thing is...
Will that suspicion always exist, do you think?
Let's see. Negreira was vice president of the committee until not long ago, so all the referees or former referees who could be part of the commission spoke like Rajoy.
A long time ago?
Technical in Spain, of course, they knew and had a relationship with Negreira, of course, but that can be avoided. Yes.
Yes, it can be avoided. Yes, of course. Let's see. In Spain, you turn over a rock and 18 million referees show up, and anywhere else. Why don't you bring referees from somewhere else? Why don't you promote referees from the lower levels? Let's see. This is very simple. You remove the 12, 13, 14, however many there are. Honestly, it's not that much. Many here would love to be referees since the pay is excellent. You set these guys aside until the trial ends, just as Madrid is requesting. And there can't be anyone there who benefited from Negreira Sr. or indirectly from Negreira Sr. as well, but by hiring his son for coaching. I mean, as many referees who didn't hire Javier Enriquez for coaching classes have said, those who did hire him did well. And that's been very clear. The latest example, Alvarola, who is still officiating our matches, who refereed a cup final after seeing how Mbappe got his head split open. Right in front of him, he was watching. Thank you. The blood flowing like a fountain right there. And the guy does nothing and sticks to his guns that it wasn't a penalty. It's unbelievable. Well, of course. But how could Madrid not complain? Well, let's continue.
That's true, but it's due to his years as vice president of the technical committee of referees with Sanchez Arminio. So, what I understood, knowing that this is inevitable and that we need a technical committee and experts to explain the criteria to the referees to make progress in all of that, is that I don't do that. I thought that with my presence, which is completely unrelated to that, things would calm down a bit. But I see that, watch out.
He calls the Negreira case overblown, the most serious case in the history of football in Spain, in Europe, and in the world. A club paying millions to a head of referees for 2 decades, 4 different presidents. And one of them, who is the current president of Barca, quadrupled the payments. He calls it overblown. And he thinks that with those who were there before, like, I just got here to fix this. Those who were there, who did well with Negreira, I don't know. It's going to show because I'm here to clean it up. No, excuse me. This is like political corruption. Sorry, that has to be cleaned up and they should all be sent packing. Of course, they're all tainted one way or another. The innocent might pay for the guilty. But you have to remove them until it's resolved, at least through the courts, since it couldn't be resolved administratively. Barca would have been liable if it hadn't become time-barred or if they hadn't let it become time-barred. That's another thing. That should be a separate case parallel to the Negreira case. How did they let that expire? Of course, but here people only do the minimum. In Italy, from day one, they're on top of this. In Spain, we just let it go. It's an incredible thing. Come on. Those who left, those who were set aside because they didn't fit into that system, said by a judge in his own words, written in several rulings. Corrupt system or systemic corruption within the refereeing establishment. To those who left because they were kicked out for not accepting what a mafia it was. To the Pino Zamoranos, the Parada Romeros, and all of them. Remove the current ones who have been proven to be part of a corrupt system and benefited from it. You put those who refereed, who were officials, who are there and have nothing to do with that, and you put them for what you said, to give the talks, to lead them, of course, but there are plenty. Or anyway, and I have nothing against the hosts of Radio Estadio Noche. This is, to put it this way, while they're talking to you, you say it like this, you confront them like this, because it's the only way for these people to finally understand once and for all what's needed here in Spanish football. And no, but the thing is, you ask him, you have to let him speak naturally, but by saying something like, listen, well, all this that I'm saying, right? But anyway, let's keep listening to him. Oh my goodness, thank you.
No, because the Negreira case comes up repeatedly in every situation, every interview. I don't have much more to say. I'm the first to say, and I've said it over and over, that he has done a lot of harm to refereeing, that he's someone who I hope gets sanctioned. As a lawyer, I trust the rule of law and justice. The matter is in court and with the judge.
There are several things wrong here from the start. Negreira hasn't done much harm. When it comes to Barca, he stays quiet, man. The other day on Sir, when they asked him, hey, what about Barca? He said, no, Barca, that's not my business. What does concern me is the guy who used to be vice president of the referees. No, sorry, Barca. Here, the one to blame for everything is Barca. And the other one got corrupted, but it's about both the corrupter and the one who gets corrupted. But of course, when he says it's a matter for the courts, he's ignoring the fact that this should have been resolved administratively with Barca being relegated, because this has been more than proven, as Tebas said. This would have happened that way because that's what the law says, but the law also said the statute of limitations was 3 years. You can't just gloss over the administrative part, which is something the interviewers here also need to mention. I don't know if they said it in the full program. In this segment, they don't say it. It's just a short clip. Have you stopped to think that Barca would have been relegated? They wouldn't have been invited to the Champions League. UEFA wouldn't have invited them because they'd already have been down in the 4th tier. Do you get that? Because you're only talking to me about whether this is sports corruption under the criminal code in the regular courts. You're not talking to me about the sporting disciplinary system. And then there's the ethical path, which is the one we're trying to address with Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo leading the way. By the way, Tomás Rubio is also doing a great job. Collins, Ricardo Ramonera, and to a lesser extent, everyone who's asked us to help out. We're on it. And now I'm going to share with you again this page, negreiragate.com, the ethical part. The Federation will likely need to make a statement. UEFA is already aware, as all the documents are going to UEFA and FIFA. Meanwhile, nothing is being sent from Madrid. We are a group of people, some more than others, of course, who are not leading this initiative. We are sending all that documentation to UEFA and FIFA so that they take action, because over there, it hasn't expired. Not with UEFA or FIFA, it hasn't expired. That's what needs to be pushed. Because while the media isn't talking about it, many fans call it fake news. Sorry, fake news. All the evidence is here. All of it. I'll show the page now. All right, let's continue.
The ruling says so. The verdict will have to be respected and let the full force of the law fall on him for what he may have done.
Of course, legally, he was never held accountable, neither administratively nor ethically, since the federation where you work, Fran Soto, did nothing. But naturally, Fran Soto is here playing his role. He's playing his part, but it's incredible and shameful what we're seeing in Italy. What happened in 2006, what's happening now, how fast they're acting. And in Spain, this was just allowed.
Then there's the sports side, the club's trust in the system. When Madrid says the entire CTA needs to be changed.
But what does everything mean?
Because the referees, I guess they're linked to the dark period.
But there aren't any. So who do we bring? Referees from Segunda Ref or Primera Ref?
And the referee, what do you say when they tell you that?
That's impossible. From what I understand, the most that can be done is what the Federation did. Bring in an outsider with absolute power.
Well, here I say the same thing again. No. It's fine that they appoint you, but all those others need to be removed. They need to be removed. I've already explained this at the start of the video. There's a really good video from Real Madrid TV that we're not going to watch in full. It's 6 minutes long, but at the beginning, it says something very interesting. And it's, to begin with, it's just the start. I mean, you can already see it clearly. This is what the regeneration of Spanish refereeing gave us. It's just unbelievable. It's amazing. Look at this.
The Professional Competition Refereeing Committee, that is the committee in charge of appointing referees for the matches each week, is made up of 3 people. Fran Soto, Teixeira Vicienes, and Gregorio Manzano.
Thank you. We'll leave it at that. What he goes on to explain is that, of course, Fran Soto arrives there, independent, nobody knew him. Teixeira Vitienes is already a familiar name. Remember when Laporta discussed Negreira and mentioned Teixeira twice? He had made a mistake, okay? He had made a mistake. He handles referee assignments. He's the only football referee ever to give someone 2 yellow cards without sending them off. That was the thing with Busquets in Villarreal. But the other one, what assigner, and we're talking about assignments and assigners in Italy, which is the heart of the whole issue in Italy, is Gregorio Manzano, a coach who managed Atletico de Madrid. Let's see if something Gregorio Manzano said comes up here. Look, this is about Teixeira Vitienes, current member of the assignment committee, okay? Matches refereed by Teixeira. The video is really interesting. I don't think I can play the whole thing. Matches, yellow cards. For Real Madrid, 89. For Barca, 54. But wait, it's explained better here. Give me a second. I don't want to mess things up.
32 Barcelona matches, showing 54 cards.
That's right. 32 matches, 54 cards, 31 Madrid matches, 89 yellow cards.
That's right. 31 Real Madrid matches with 89 yellow cards shown.
From 2003 to 2015. Okay, this is Teixeira Vitienes, and as I said, where is the second yellow here? The second yellow for Busquets. Well, do you remember? Here, wait. No, do you remember perfectly? I can't find it now. Come on, here it is. It's just that he said Marias. This was the second one when Busquets was leaving the field. Then he said they hadn't shown it to Busquets. And there was that footballer, Lorente, I think that was his name, who said to him, but you did show it to him. Well. Of course, that guy from Signa. Okay, Gregorio Manzano. This is what the man who was Atletico de Madrid's coach back then once said. Hold on.
In the press room.
Something always happens, right? Something always goes Real Madrid's way at key moments. That's what we're analyzing. I would have liked to have played the match 11 against 11 to give a more thorough analysis to your honest question, but it wasn't possible.
It's unbelievable. The man who once said something always happens is now the official who assigns referees. That's why we get Arbeloa so many times. That's why Trujillo Suarez is so often on VAR, and he screwed us over 700 times. That's why. González Fuertes. González Fuertes, where are you? The one who threatened us in the cup final? We're definitely going to take action. Don't doubt it. The VAR official from the Betis match missed Ibrahim's handball and wrongly thought Bellingham was offside, though that was proven false. And then he didn't consider this to be a handball by the Betis player inside the box. The one who didn't see or didn't call VAR for the foul on Mendy by, what's his name? Anthony, the Betis player. Well, it's this man. And who are the people who make the assignments? The ones we just saw. Hold on while I look for it. There's the CTA thing, so I'll show you the page again soon. The page negreiragate.com. But let's look for the account of the Royal Spanish Football Federation for a moment, like I was telling you, right? The thing about the review time came up. What's it called? Review. Here it is. Let's look for it. Just a moment. Let's look for it. I can only turn up the volume, the audio. Sorry, I'm really something. Wait, here. Let's see what it says. Okay. What does it say? Just a moment. The thing with images is tricky. Okay. We're going to see it here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to make it very small, almost imperceptible. And I'm going to put here let's listen to it. I'm putting the logo on. Venga, ponte. See? Live show issues, huh? Unreal, man. Come on, man. This isn't working, is it? Isn't it working? Don't make me cut the video, man. Here it is. Damn, dude. Come on. Oh my God. I don't want to cut or edit the video. Well, they've already messed me up. Well, while I'm telling you what's on the other one, while I'm telling you about the Negreira Gate website, here you can see negreiragate.com. Here you can see, everything. I mean, here are all the documents, absolutely everything with all the data, the timeline, the key figures, all the information. I mean, if a journalist from the New York Times comes in here, their eyes are going to light up. It's going to blow their mind. We're working on that too and want the foreign press to know. Our videos are here, uploaded by Gabriel Carreras, who created this page. And all the documents submitted, absolutely every single one submitted by por Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo. Here are all of them. All of these. Look, okay, here's everything. The civil guards report of 600 pages, everything. So when they say, no, there is no evidence, here, take all the evidence. That's what we're trying to do, to see UEFA and FIFA. All of this. Okay, let's see if divine providence doesn't sabotage us now, and we can listen to this video. Wow. All right, just a moment. Now I think we're going to... No, it's not working for me right now. Now, damn, man. Wait, give me a second. I'll zoom in. I mean, I'll reload it again. All right, there's the video. It doesn't constitute. All right, it doesn't constitute. I don't know what.
A defender to protect the
Ball and continue.
opponent's play. When Leves comes in, come on.
Here. They're going to tell you this is Leves. Come on, here we go.
Dirigimos a la ciudad de Sevilla y más concretamente a la Cartuja, en la que en el minuto 92 se produce una sujeción leve por parte de un jugador del Betis sobre Real Madrid defender inside the box. La jugada continúa y finalmente from the home team.
Sorry, he said slight holding. Remember the pull he gave him.
If the pull is to be penalized, there must be a clear holding and a direct cause and effect relationship between the attacker's action and the defender. Light contacts fall within the scope of the referee's interpretation. For the CTA, the holding is light and open to interpretation, and there is no clear cause and effect relationship. The referee's interpretation on the field is correct. The VAR, since it is a subjective action, acts correctly by not intervening, following the protocols and criteria established by the... I don't want to hear any more.
Light holding. Wait, I'm going to enlarge this. Let's take a moment. I have it here among the tweets I liked the other day. I've talked about this topic a lot, actually, in the tweets I've posted. This is the light holding. Notice how lightly Antonia Mendy holds, how lightly she holds her. And wait, besides that supposedly slight holding, let's look at it in a still image, because you say, hey, it's just a photo. Okay. This is nothing. It barely lasts anyway. I mean, this is the slight hold. When she bounces, she goes boom, down. I mean, really, you're fighting, struggling with another rival for a ball, and he grabs your arm, grabs you by the upper arm, near the armpit and by the wrist. And he goes, wham, damn, you fall to the ground, and the guy, there's no way you can win the position like that. But how is that a slight hold, CTA? Presided over by this man, by Fran Soto. That's crazy, man. Anyway, oops, I put the logo. Sorry, no, let's do things right, Miguel. This feels way too slapdash. Let's do things right. This is let's see. This is the slight hold, okay? You saw before how he grabbed her by the wrist and near the armpit, and then bam, yanks him down. That's what the CTA chaired by Fran Soto considers a slight hold. Amazing. Well, after the Champions League semifinals, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, I think we'll make a video and a few more things I haven't even gotten into yet. 25 minutes of video. Oh my. Lately, I have a lot to say. See you in the next one. Bye.